training camp is officially here as veterans report today, Tuesday, July 22nd, and I'm here for a full preview. My name is Harrison Graham. We're going to dive into, I'd say, 5 top storylines that I'm keeping an eye on throughout training camp and that I think you guys should pay attention to as well. I think the most important thing by far is just this new partnership between Caleb Williams, the quarterback, and Ben Johnson, the head coach / offensive coordinator / play caller. How does this thing gel? How does this thing grow? Are there bumps? I'm sure there will be. Is it over a 5 or 6 week period? Is it one of these where it's but over time it's a linear growth? That's what you're obviously hoping for because it's the most important relationship on the team. Head coach and quarterback, especially when the head coach is the play caller as well. Like Caleb's growth and development and ascension has to be priority 1, 2, and 3 during training camp. We need to feel by the end of training camp pretty good about where he's at heading into the regular season. Now, how he performs in camp, is that going to be a direct indicator of how he plays week 1 and throughout the season? Not necessarily, but you need to feel good about what he's doing in these practices. I would imagine the first, few practices, maybe even week and a half could be, jumpy, not great. But by the end of camp, we should feel better about Caleb than we did at the start of camp. And hopefully with reps and with growth and with evolution with this new head coach, that is going to happen. Some areas of growth I'm looking for with Caleb is getting the ball out quicker. Now, better offensive line should just give him more time to throw. That'll help. He's never going to be among the league leaders in times to throw because that's just not his game. It's not Joe Burrow's game either. Like, he historically holds the ball on long. So you can be a guy that holds on to the ball longer, but he's got to get it out quicker, at least on certain plays. Deep ball accuracy. I think this was an area that was just all over the map last year. I think some of it was time to footwork. Some of it was just timing with the receiver. Some of it was just bad throws. Is Caleb going to go from a bottom deep ball thrower to one of the best in the league this year? Probably not, but he's got to hit more of those. And he's, more importantly, just give your guys a chance. Like, as weird as it sounds, you'd rather underthrow a deep throw than overthrow one because a guy like Rome Odunze, 72% contested catch rate, he's going to make a play more often than not. And then just increased aggressiveness. Like, take less sacks. That's part of getting the ball out quicker in general also. But, tighter window, take a chance every once in a while. Ben Johnson talked about that. Efficiency and aggressiveness, we're going to lean into those with this offense. A turnover in certain situations is actually not as bad as a sack because a sack essentially ends a drive. It just does. So if you're increasing your aggressiveness rate, well, if you hit enough of those, even if that increases your turnovers, the ways to win in today's NFL, you got to generate explosive plays offensively. So take more chances if you are Caleb Williams. All right, what is an area that you're keeping an eye on that Caleb needs to improve at the most, perhaps? Maybe it's something tangibly, maybe it's something intangibly. Let me know an area you're keeping an eye on with Caleb that you want to see him improve at this year. Okay, obviously the left tackle competition, and we could point to all the different competitions. Linebacker 3, third wide receiver, second outside corner, but this is a critical one because A, it does protect the quarterback we were just talking about, and B, it's the primary question on the offensive line at this point in time because your left guard through right tackle is pretty darn set with Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Darnell Wright. Jonah Jackson, minor question mark there. Had a weird season last year, but you feel pretty good about him reuniting with Ben Johnson. But is it going to be Braxton Jones? Is it going to be Ozzy Trapilo? Is it going to be Kiran Amegadjie? Depending on when you're watching this, we might have more clarification on Braxton Jones' injury status. So depending on when I publish this, we might have more info on whether or not he's on the PUP list. But regardless of that, who's going to win that job? Because everything is set except for left tackle on the Bears offensive line. We know who the other 4 starters are going to be. There's no question about that, barring an injury. Or barring a curveball of moving Darnell Wright to left tackle, which I just do not think is going to happen. 99.9% sure who 4 out of the 5 starters is. But we don't have any clue who's going to be the starting left tackle. And so that obviously is a major storyline for the next month and a half. All right, guys, today's show is sponsored by Brunt, the best working boots I have ever owned. come from Brunt, and you can get $10 off with code CHAT today. As a homeowner, there's always projects around the house to work on, and Brunt's boots provide both comfort and durability required to get these jobs done. Before I found Brunt, I can't tell you how many different working boots I tried and went through. I was always left with foot pain, blisters. They weren't waterproof. They just didn't offer the overall performance that Brunt does. The Marin boots from Brunt are the most comfortable boots I've ever worn. You can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable as your sneakers. They are lightweight, waterproof, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, and electrical hazard rated. Join over 500,000 customers with Brunt today, as Brunt lets you try the boots on the job risk-free, and all of their products have free shipping as well. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up over time. So they built something better, boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. So for a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's code CHAT at bruntworkwear.com. Code CHAT, $10 off. You're good to go. And after you order, they're going to ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor. Tell them we sent you. Bears Now from Chat Sports. $10 off, code CHAT, bruntworkwear.com. You can use /chat as well to get $10 off. Okay, number 3. What roster needs a merge? I think we know, at least on paper, the ones we've talked about a lot, right? What? Edge, running back. Those are the two that really stand out. But I think there's other ones, and obviously as you get through camp and little nicks and knacks, injuries, underperformance, overperformance in other areas, you get to the end of these training camps before cutdown day, and these GMs with the coaches and assistants and et cetera, they kind of analyze the roster. Okay, where are we at this position? Do we need to add some depth there? I think these are 5 positions I'm keeping an eye on. Edge, running back, don't need to beat those down. I have question marks about both of those for various reasons. Safety and linebacker depth I'll throw into the same bucket as well. You feel good about your starters. Backups, I think there's questions there. And then as much credit, and the Bears deserve a lot of it, that we've given Ryan Poles and the Bears for rebuilding the offensive line, especially the interior with Tooney, Dahlman, and Jackson. Who are the backup interior guys? Is Ryan Bates healthy? If he is, can he be that reliable guy? I would say a healthy Ryan Bates is a pretty good backup interior lineman because he can play center or guard. Okay, if he's healthy, that's a check mark. I'm not convinced he's healthy. I think that's going to be a storyline that emerges. Luke Newman, center guard hybrid. He's been working out at center this offseason, started doing that at the Senior Bowl, etc. 6th round pick. Is he ready to be a primary backup? Doug Kramer, I do think there is a world where you could add a veteran guard if someone gets cut, or if a Brandon Scherf or someone like that wants to play for super cheap. There are guys out there, but I do have questions about the interior backups. Maybe Kiran Amegadjie. Like if this turns into a Braxton Jones, Ozzy Trapilo thing, could you get Amegadjie some reps at guard? That's something I would like to see, so we'll see what happens there. I think the impact additions, if they come, I think edge and running back would be the positions to look at, because you could argue that you need real contributors at both those positions. Like interior offensive line backup, like you're hoping that guy never plays, right? You're hoping that a 4th or 5th linebacker that you potentially bring in never has to play. That's more of just, okay, if a guy goes down. But running back, you could bring in a guy to pair with Swift, and in certain scenarios, if it's a Kenneth Walker, James Cook, whatever, a guy that could actually ascend ahead of Swift, potentially. And then at edge, you're probably, unless you make a blockbuster move, not going to find somebody that's better than Montez Sweat, but for sure better than Austin Booker, better than a guy like Dominique Robinson, maybe even a guy better than Dio Adengbo. You never know. So those are the 2 positions where you could add an impact player potentially, but those other spots are more like depth positions. And we'll see if other positions end up needing to add pieces, because injuries pop up and you never know what's going to happen. All right, there you go. Those are some potential roster needs that could emerge. A couple more things to break down in this training camp preview in a moment. But if you want Chicago Bears content all year long, all season long, weird to say, the season is upon us, hit that subscribe button. We got you guys covered. Okay, key injuries to watch. These vets, they all do their physicals, so on and so forth. But more important than that, what is the status of Braxton Jones and Colston Loveland? Now, rookies reported a couple of days ago, as of filming this, and I'm filming this full disclosure, Thursday afternoon, evening, 5:10 p.m. Central Time. Haven't heard anything about Loveland's shoulder status since he reported to camp 2 days ago. First full practice isn't until Wednesday, so we may not hear anything until then. But just full disclosure, if you're watching this later, it's like, oh, we saw the report on Loveland. That's why, as of now, I haven't heard anything new. Same with Braxton Jones, veterans report obviously on Tuesday. I'm filming this on Monday, like I said. Obviously, he had the ankle surgery. Loveland had the shoulder surgery. Those are two potential starters, right? So, like, what are their situations? As of filming this, Jalen Johnson on the NFI. I don't get the sense that's a serious injury situation, but obviously something potentially to watch. But I think these are the two notable ones, obviously. And then lastly, which young players can elevate? Which young players can ascend to the next level? Not necessarily to being a superstar, but maybe they were a project last year and they're a contributor this year. Maybe they were a rotation player last year and a starter this year. These are 5 players I'm keeping an eye on. And beyond Caleb, obviously. We already talked about Caleb. Rome Odunze. Can he go from being a solid starter, solid contributor to like a very good starter, high-end starter, if not a potential star? I think that's on the table. Darnell Wright, he's been a good starter for 2 years. Thought the second half of last year he was really good. Can he be great? Can he be one of the best right tackles in the league this year? I think that's on the table. Gervon Dexter, very good rotation player, decent starter through 2 years. Can he be more? Can he be a high-end starter? Can he be a blue chipper? That might be a reach, but I think there's more there. Tyreek Stevenson, it's obviously been a roller coaster filled with ups and downs. Can he just be like a steady starter? Consistency, that's kind of the word with him. And then Austin Booker, can he be that third edge rusher? Can he be at least kind of an upside kind of streaky type of pass rusher that randomly can impact games? Like you're hoping he can be that type of guy for this defense. And, in general, this team needs some more blue chippers to emerge. I think they have 2. I think Joe Thuney and Jalen Johnson are blue chip players. Montez Sweat, DJ Moore at times have played at that level, but probably haven't done it consistently. Can Rome Odunze elevate? Can Darnell Wright get there? Can these other players go from yellow chip to red, which is the second tier? I think that's possible. You need guys to improve. That's where coaching comes in. That's where player development comes in. Year 2 to year 3, year 1 to year 2, so on and so forth. So obviously going to be important to see which of these guys take the next step in their career. Which Bears player needs to step up the most? I think the answer is clearly Caleb. Beyond him, needs is a strong word, but who's the left tackle? You'd like someone in that group to step up. Darnell Wright, go be an all-pro, man. You've got all the tools. Take that next step. Be a little more consistent. So if they can find a few guys that do that, you're going to be sitting pretty good. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now, my full training camp preview. We'll react to camp every day. We'll do probably weekly training camp winners and losers as well, preseason content. We got you covered every step of the way, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.